In the early 1950s, Ray Kroc was not a success story. He was in his 50s, living on the road, selling milkshake machines from town to town. He had health problems, mounting bills, and the kind of exhaustion that doesn't show up in photos. By most standards, his life had already picked its direction. Then, a small restaurant in California placed an order for 8 milkshake machines. 8. That number didn't make sense. So Kroc did what he always did. He drove out to see it with his own eyes. What he found wasn't just a busy restaurant. It was a system. The kitchen moved like a factory. Every task was broken down into the smallest possible action. Every worker knew exactly where to stand, what to touch, and when to move. Orders were taken. Food was prepared. Customers were served fast. Not because people were panicking, but because the process had been designed to remove chaos. No improvising, no wasted motion, no figure it out as you go. And in that moment, Kroc didn't fall in love with hamburgers. He fell in love with repeatability. For most of his life, Kroc had sold individual products, a cup, a machine, a single sale at a time. But standing inside that kitchen, he saw a different kind of product, a machine that could run without talent, without creativity, without luck, just procedure. The restaurant belonged to 2 brothers. They were careful men. They liked control. They liked stability. And honestly, they had enough. They didn't want to grow fast. They didn't want outside pressure. They didn't want this system stretched beyond what they could personally watch with their own eyes. Kroc wanted the opposite. He saw cities filled with identical kitchens, identical menus, identical timing. Not a restaurant, a model. But there was one problem. None of it belonged to him. He was standing inside the most important opportunity of his life, and legally, he was just a visitor. And it wasn't just risky, it was personal. At his age, starting over isn't exciting, it's humiliating. If he was wrong, he wouldn't just lose money, he would lose the last years he had left. This is the part people skip. The moment where the dream still looks irrational, where the smart option is to walk away, take the lesson, and go back to what you know. But Kroc couldn't unsee what he'd seen. A kitchen that didn't depend on talent, a business that could copy itself. And once you see that, the old life starts to feel impossible to return to. This is where most stories end quietly. The salesman says thank you, gets back in the car, and returns to the road. Because that's the safe choice. The familiar one, the choice that doesn't risk embarrassment. But Ray Kroc made a different decision. He made the hard choice. He stopped selling equipment and started selling a system. Instead of one location, he focused on franchising. Instead of personality, he focused on process. Instead of freedom, he focused on consistency. Every location would look the same, work the same, serve the same food, the same way, every time. And this part matters. That kind of consistency isn't natural. It has to be built, enforced, protected. It means rules, training, measurements, timers, checklists. It means telling people exactly how to do something, down to details most people don't want to hear. Not because you enjoy controlling people, but because the customer is paying for the same outcome every time. A system only works when it's stronger than mood, when it's stronger than personality, when it's stronger than the day someone woke up tired. But Kroc understood something important. A single restaurant is a job. A system is leverage. Once the system was in place, growth stopped being the hardest part. New locations didn't need genius, they needed instructions. Training replaced talent. Process replaced instinct. And customers learned something without ever saying it out loud. No matter where they were, they knew what they would get. That predictability became trust. And trust is what people return to. Trust scales. That's how McDonald's spread. Not because the food was extraordinary, but because the system was. Ray Kroc didn't win because he worked harder than everyone else. He won because he chose to build something that didn't depend on him. The hard choice wasn't effort. It was stepping back and letting the system take over.